We do it live, like who did that? Fucking Bill O'Reilly. Oh, we're live. All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our UFC 203 pre-fight show presented by CrossBoneMMA.com. My name is Eddie Law. Of course, we got Jesse Wacaba once again, not in the Pokestop man, because you guys work done on time today, so it's good to go. And out of ABQ, Dave Rodriguez. We're here to break the whole card down. UFC 203. A little side note here. Might be joined by a very drunk Fred Kirby, and hopefully we'll be joined by a non-bullet hole filled fucking Nick Pilecki with the bullshit that's going on at his place right now. So if he comes on, we'll get him to explain. Anyway, all right. So again, UFC 203 going down. Yeah, hopefully, right? UFC 203 going down tomorrow night in Cleveland, Ohio, at the Q. Of course, home of the Cleveland Cavaliers, the world champion Cleveland Cavaliers. Still weird for me to say that, by the way, that they got a title, but whatever. Anyway, UFC Fight Pass prelims kick off at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time, with a lightweight bout. Drew Dober against Jason Gonzalez. Of course, Drew Dober is 16-7-0. He's 27 years old. Out of Omaha, Nebraska, Mid-America Martial Arts, but I believe he moved to Colorado to train now. So I want to say he's at Evolution, whatever they're calling that, new muscle farm place. But regardless, he's at Colorado now, or training there. His last fight was a decision win over Scott Holtzman at UFC 195 in January. And of course, Nico Yes, for some reason his nickname is Nico Yes, is Jason Gonzalez, 10-2-0, 26 years old, out of Colton, California, making his UFC debut, riding a 6-fight win streak. Last fight was at RFA, which of course, as we know, is kind of a feeder league for the UFC. They actually kind of pride themselves on being able to bring up talent and send them out to the bigger leagues, UFC, wherever else, Bellator. But it was at RFA. It was a second round TKO win over Chris Padilla. So we have a guy with actually, quite a few fights in the UFC. I guess a guy making his UFC debut, as we know, UFC jitters, the whole bunch. Coming from RFA, you have a little bit of an edge on that, but not very much. So starting out here with Jesse, man, what do you think, Padilla versus Dober? Who do you think takes it?
Honestly, this fight is kind of like one of those fights where they're basically going to fire somebody after this fight, and they might fire both of them if it's a boring fight. Both of these guys, even though Dober's been in the UFC for a long time, I mean, you look at his record. His record's just riddled with submissions or decisions, and a lot of decisions recently. So, I mean, and really, if you look at, unfortunately, if you look at most of this undercard, you'll see that a lot of these guys really don't have signature wins under them. I think the only one is maybe Brad Tavares. He might be the only guy on here that has really signature wins of top-level competition. So we're just looking at basically guys that are kind of meddling along here in their division, trying to be better than a journeyman, I think. And I think Drew Dober is that. He's better than a journeyman at this point. And I think he's going to pull out a submission. Jason Gonzalez on the other side, I mean, we were talking about that before. He tried out for, what was it, season 22 of Tough, and he lost. Yeah. He lost in that fight. Went back and got another win and got himself into this position. Basically, the only reason he's in the UFC at this point was because Drew Dober's original opponent pulled out. So, I mean, who knows, man? I mean, it might be the opportunity that Gonzalez needs to be in the UFC, but if I remember that fight correctly, he just didn't seem confident enough in basically his abilities to really pull the trigger and win that fight into the Tough House. So, I mean, it's like you said before. I mean, he's coming to the big show. Even though it's the prelims, not a lot of people watching. I still think that's going to be a lot of nerves on him to perform. And to win. His job here, and I think that's going to be too much for him. So Drew Dober probably by a submission or a boring decision.
That's where I'm going too. I'm going Drew Dober, boring decision. Honestly, I don't think you get called up from a place like RFA and they're expected to get beat that bad, especially not in a prelim fight, right? So I'm thinking Gonzalez will have enough to hold out for a decision, but I just think UFC jitters and lack of experience against UFC talent is going to get him. So I'm taking Drew Dober as well by decision. What do you think there, Dave?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of that. I mean, like Jesse mentioned, second time around for Gonzalez. He was on the Tough 22 season. This time around, he's got to make a statement here. It's an opening fight. The UFC's kind of making a trend of multiple cards back to back where there's just been a great fight to start out the card. I hope that this fight turns out that way. I'll give the nod to Dober and experience. I know he's fought some pretty legit guys. I think he has a win over like Jamie Varner. He's fought Nick Hine. He's fought some guys that are still currently in the UFC. Nick Gonzalez, just being that it's a short notice fight and that he's got to go in and face a guy that's got a little bit more on the experience side. And I think at the weigh-ins, Gonzalez looked pretty damn big compared to his opponent here, but I think that dispels that this fight may end up, like Jesse said, possibly a boring decision. But hopefully Nick Gonzalez can seize the moment and make a case for him, remaining in the UFC and propelling himself to that next level. But that said, I'm gonna have to, since both you guys are gonna go with Dober, I'm gonna go against that, and I'm gonna take Gonzalez for the upset. And I think he gets the job done, most likely by a decision, though.
You know what? There was quite a bit of a height difference. It was like a good 2-3 inches, something like that. So, like I said, that should help.
Yeah,
he's
like
tall.
Huge for the. And the other thing that Dave was mentioning, his Drew Dober's wins, he does hold a win over Illwell Brooks. So I mean that's at least something. Right. Even though it was at 2012, but that's still something, right?
Yeah.
I guess that's like having a BlackBerry these days, though. You know what I mean? Like, you have a BlackBerry phone. We were talking about phones a little bit ago. That's like having a BlackBerry phone in 2015 and 2016. It doesn't mean much. You know what I mean? It doesn't work very well. You try to use it, but that shit's gonna fuck you over because you ain't got video chat and you can't use fucking Snapchat on it. So that's kind of what it is with that. All right, moving on to the next fight, and actually a pretty solid fight. In my opinion, a pretty solid fight for the Fight Pass prelims. Usually they've been trying to make a bigger marquee ones. I mean, we just had Diego Sanchez on a freaking Fight Pass feature prelim not too long ago. But this fight is legit, in my opinion. We got Yancy Medeiros against Sean Spencer. Medeiros 12-4-0 with 1-0 contest, 29 years old, out of Makaha, Hawaii team. Hakuilua, whatever the fuck. Also trains with the Diaz brothers, so we know that. And his last fight was a decision loss to Francisco Trinaldo at UFC 198 in May. Taking on Sean Spencer, 12-5-0, 29 years old, out of Bluefield, Virginia, and Octagon MMA. Last fight was a third-round TKO loss against Mike Pyle at UFC Fight Night, Hendricks against Thompson in February. He is riding a 2-fight losing streak. So now, if you guys, anybody caught Advocates last on Wednesday, by the way, Advocates is available on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and on YouTube. So anytime you want to watch it, it's everywhere. Download for free, share it with your friends, do the damn thing. CrossBoneMMA.com and get it on there too. But if you listen to the Advocates, we were talking about the new way MMA works. So while he has a 2-fight losing streak, it might not mean much if he puts out a really exciting fight. Usually it's you lose that third one and they literally give you a pink slip on the way out. That's it for you, right? So both of these guys they got something that, they got some work to do because they're both coming off losses. So I'll start here with Dave, man. Yancy Medeiros, Sean Spencer. What do you think goes down? Who do you think takes it?
Yeah, you're a bit right there, Ed. You're right on the money. I think both these guys a much-needed win on both sides here. I think Yancy's coming off that tough bout where he stood strong in the pocket with Lineker, right? Or not Lineker. I'm sorry, Francisco Trinaldo. Yeah. Okay, so that bout was at 55. So here he moves up. I think Sean Spencer had a pretty tough, or he barely made weight. He had a pretty rough cut from what I've heard. I think that this fight will be pretty competitive. I think Yancy's the tougher guy here. He proved he has a chin of granite. I think Sean Spencer, he probably doesn't have enough in the toolbox to actually land to get Yancy clean. It's probably going to have to be a drag it out 3-round war. But then again, I'd favor Yancy Medeiros in that fight all day. Both the guys, these guys 29 years old, so I think Medeiros has got a little bit more upside. So I think him ranked number 42 in the world and Spencer at 63. I think Yancy gets the job done, and he does train with Max Holloway too out there in Hawaii. Yep. So I always like to root for the Hawaii boys. I like to see them do well. I think Yancy does get the job done here, possibly by an early stoppage, but I think it's going to be a pretty tough competitive fight. I think Spencer's going to be a game opponent in there, so I'm favoring Yancy Medeiros in this fight, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm taking Yancy Medeiros as well, not just because of the Scrap Pack connection, but the Max Holloway connection to me is a big deal. He's gotten in fights where he just, for some reason just can't do enough. And you watch him and he lets go of the gas for a little bit, and then he's like, oh shit, I gotta come on, and he starts throwing down and everything. But in this fight, I think both guys are gonna be game fighters, and I think Medeiros, his ability to endure and just those Hawaiian guys, dude, you can't fuck with them. It's hard to do. BJ Penn, Max Holloway, even Travis Brown, those kind of guys, they're hard to deal
Very
with.
tough.
Yeah, they're very tough guys out there. So I'm thinking Anthony Medeiros probably a late stoppage of some sort. I think he's going to be able to overwhelm Sean Spencer. And of course I'm always going to root for guys like Anthony Medeiros, rough around the edges kind of guys. Those are my favorite kind of fighters. So Anthony Medeiros stoppage like probably late in the 3rd round. Who are you taking, Jesse?
Yeah, pretty much. I'd be just regurgitating everything you guys said. The only thing I don't like about Medeiros is if you look at his record, he has no real solid top contender wins, and I think it just sucks because he's an exciting fighter. I think he's faced some good competition. I think his only good win that I can think of on his record was the one that he got overturned because he popped for weed. Who was that? Was it Jim Miller, I think, that he beat?
I think so.
He knocked him out, right? Or something like that. I think he stopped him. But anyway, he's the type of guy, Medeiros is the type of guy that's kind of got the Nick Diaz style of, pressure you, punch you, and he's going to eat a couple shots, and then you're going to eat like 5-10 of those, and then you're going to go down. And he's going to be still there standing, smiling, pushing forward. So I just don't think Spencer has the power, the ability to weather that storm or neither hurt him either. So I think Medeiros wins this by probably TKO. I would say early, but it could be Spencer proves to be a little bit tougher a customer and stays in there. But I just don't see how Spencer's going to be able to outlast him and not be able to eat too many on the chin and go down. So Medeiros.
Definitely. And Nick Pilecki on the YouTube comments, I guess he's watching a little bit. He says, let's hope I don't get shot. Be on soon. So we're expecting to be joined by Mr. Pilecki here. Hopefully sometime soon, alive and breathing. That'd be great.
Damn, Nick. I hope he's recording it so he has proof.
Yeah, Nick, get your phone out. In fact, get the hell off the stream. Just get your phone out right when the cops show up, dude, because you don't want to fuck around. You don't look like a Mexican, dude. You look black, all right? Straight up. Fucking watch your ass, all right? Don't be on no Colin Kaepernick shit either, motherfucker, all right? Put your hands down. Keep your hands down, asshole. All right, fucking with you. Yeah, dude. You know what's funny? Sometimes with some of the shit we say on here, or I say on here, or Kirby says on here, we're just like, I'm just waiting for YouTube to get a call from Hillary Clinton or somebody, and we get shut the fuck down just halfway through a show. At one point, that's gonna happen. If we go dark, if this fucking place goes dark, all right, just remember that it was because I said some shit. Anyway, all right, moving on here to the FS1 prelims are 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time, kicked off by a light heavyweight bout that I couldn't give less of a shit about. CB Dalloway against Francis Barbosa. The Doberman Dalloway, 69-0, 33 years old, out of Tempe, Arizona, and Power MMA. Technically Gilbert, but whatever. Power MMA. The last fight was a knockout loss against Nate Marquardt at UFC on Fox 17. That was the RDA Cerrone 2 card in December of last year. He is riding a 3-fight losing streak, which makes me wonder why the fuck he's still here. But then I looked at the losing streak, Machida, Bisping, Marquardt, so not against losers. You know what I mean? So when you lose against names and guys that are good or have a history of being good, you get some slack. It helps you out. So Dalloway's still there. However, he loses tomorrow night. Please believe his ass is going to WSOF or Bellator or wherever the fuck. I don't really care where he goes. Just get the hell off my TV. That's just kind of what it is. Then Bodal Barroso is 18-5-0, 36 years old, out of Brazil in the famous Nova União gym. His last fight was a second-round rear naked choke loss to Nikita Krylov at UFC Fight Night 87. That was the Overeem Orlovsky card back in May, which honestly I was surprised about. I thought Krylov, I did not think he was going to get choked out. And Nikita Krylov has definitely proven a lot of people wrong, and I'm excited to see that guy fight. So I'm definitely hoping here. Okay, I'm going to go first. I hope that to hell Dalloway gets knocked the fuck out. And we're joined by Mr. Fred Kirby. What's up, buddy?
Oh, what's up, fellas?
Enjoy that beer.
How deep are you right now?
Oh no, I haven't even had the opportunity, so I'm fine.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Jesse's like, fuck, man. I want some shit talking.
Yeah. The kids were up late, son.
There you go. Oh yeah, you can't. You have to wait a little longer. Yeah. All right. Well, hey, fuck it.
CB Dalloway, right? Is that the fight you guys are on?
Yep. Dalloway Barroso. Who you picking?
Yeah, I hope he loses. I don't even know who he's fighting. I just hope CB loses. It's enough with him already. Who's he fighting?
Francis Barbosa.
Ain't that the disgusting looking dude?
Might be.
I think so.
Ain't his nickname like Horseface or some shit?
It's like it's like the Bodal. What does Bodal mean? Anyone know? Is that Horseface? I don't even know.
Not sure.
Yeah, well, He's gross looking, but I hope he beats CB Dalloway.
If he was fighting who's the model motherfucker? Not Rockhold, the other one.
Theodore Elias.
No, besides him, the other one that trains with 10th Planet. Fuck, he's like
Alan Joban.
Yeah, Joban. It was fighting Joban. That'd be like that. You got to make that fight in Hollywood. Can you imagine how many celebrities would come out to see the pretty boy win? Fucking stupid. Or the other way around. Yeah, right. Oh, by the way, fucking now you reminded me. For some reason, that reminded me. Did you hear this shit about Robbie Lawler pulling out of 205?
Oh no.
Yeah, apparently
he just got fucking signed, right?
He just fucking pulled out. Apparently, according to TMZ Sports, unfortunately they get a lot of shit right. But according to them, he fucking pulled out already at that Cerrone fight, which fucking blows. 'Cause I was looking forward to that shit. But if anyone hasn't heard, sorry for breaking the news to you. It fucking blows, but that just came out.
Yeah, but they also get a lot of stuff wrong, so we'll see how that goes.
They do. I'm hoping the hell they're wrong. I really am. Anyway, Dave, what do you think about this fight, man? Dalloway, Barroso, are you with us here? Do you hate Dalloway as much as we do? Not hate him, but do you dislike him as much as we do?
And the guy's been around for so long. I mean, shit, he's got like an unlimited contract with the UFC or something like that. So, yeah, it's basically like, 3 losses in a row. Usually that ships your ass to Bellator or elsewhere. But you mentioned the notable opponents, though, so they're giving him another shot here. It's basically a fight for him to win, but I think it's a pretty tough matchup for him. You talk about Barroso when he got finished by Krylov. So, yeah, I think he's coming off a tough loss. I think he'll be pretty tough in there. Believe it or not, CB Dalloway, it's his 23rd UFC fight. So at 33 years old, that's a lot of fights, you know what I mean, for his age. You'd think he'd be a lot older, but I think Barroso's the older opponent here. But, I guess Barroso, I think it's a tough fight to pick. It's like a 51-49 type fight. I guess I'll go with Barroso in the match. I think it'll be a boring fucking shit fest of a fight, too, more than likely. So.
All right. Jesse, who you picking?
You know what? Like, thinking about his last 3 fights, I had kind of picked Dalloway just because of the experience. But then you reminded me that his last 3 fights, he's been knocked out every single time, right?
I think he got finished every single time. I'm gonna say.
Yeah. I think he got knocked out every single time. I think.
Okay.
I know Machida put him out.
Nate Marco put him out with 1 hit.
Yeah.
That was a KO.
And I think Bisping might have too, right?
Yeah, Bisping got a decision win on him.
Oh, okay. So 2 out of 3.
All right. At this point, you kind of start thinking, CB Dalloway has been in there for a long time, and we haven't seen him improve, really. He's gotten, like, slightly better, just good enough to beat, like, these, like, low-tier guys. But other than that, I mean, he really hasn't really done anything. I mean, out of that camp, you would expect him to be a lot better with his wrestling and all that, and he just doesn't, I don't know, he just doesn't seem to improve. So I kind of thought that maybe Dalloway could win this fight, use his wrestling, and then I started thinking again, okay, he couldn't even use his wrestling against Bisping, couldn't really do anything against most of his opponents, and I got to agree with you guys. I think Barroso's just going to put hands on his chin and put him away.
Yeah, I think CB Dalloway go ahead, sorry.
Oh, no, just to close that with CB, I think he's ranked number 22 in the world, so with 3 losses, he's still in the, in top 20 or 20s in the world, so that's kind of crazy. And he is the favorite in the fight as well.
Time out. CB Dalloway was 22 in the world?
Yeah.
Do all middleweights suck ass then? There's really a bunch of middleweights that are worse than this motherfucker. All right. You know what?
23.
I hope he gets beat the fuck down, and then Dana White literally kicks him in the ass out of the cage. Get the fuck out of my fucking building, asshole. Don't ever come back. God damn. All right. Moving on, next fight. Lightweight bout. Nick Lentz, the Carney, against Michael McBride. Lentz, 28-7-2, 1-0 contest, 32 years old, out of St. Paul, Minnesota. He trains at ATT, Minnesota Martial Arts Academy. Last fight was a split decision win over Danny Castillo and at the RDA Cerrone 2 card in December of last year, obviously. And then McBride, 8-1-0 out of Webster, Iowa. UFC debut, riding a 4-fight win streak. I think his last fight was like a triangle choke win, and he missed weight by 2 pounds. So this whole fight's just a gaggle fuck of what the fuck is going on, and it's a weird one to pick. Kirby, who are you picking?
I'm gonna go with the new guy. He sounds like my type of guy, right? Missed weight by a couple pounds. An original fuck up. And I tell you what, Nick Lentz is in the fucking same boat. I can't stand watching this prick fight. Quite frankly, he's tedious. He's boring. He wins. He's good at winning fights. He's good at knowing how to get the takedown and hold position. But let's be honest, man. Nick Lentz fight does not incite a whole bunch of excitement. So whoever the fuck this new guy is, let's hope he's a bit more exciting than Nick Lentz and he can actually win a fight. I would suppose, what is it, Sean Shelby or Joe Silva? Somebody's still fucking booking this fight. So Nick Lentz is kind of a high-profile name. So I assume this kid must have something if they're booking him against Nick Lentz in his UFC debut. Yeah. So hopefully they know something we don't, and he comes out and puts a slick submission win on Nick the Carney Lentz with his funny ass.
Fucking Carney. Get fucking Carney. That's the bitch you come up with, that's why the fucking Carney. You look like a guy named Carney for sure, but still, what the fuck? You know what's funny is he tries to look at, he almost like, who was it that put on the fake McGregor tattoo? That wasn't him, it was somebody else. But I always thought Nick Lentz looks fucking spot on, like a retarded Conor McGregor.
What's his name? Oh God, I know who you're talking about.
He's a funny guy, actually, the one that did it, but I forgot who.
Yeah,
he's like 205.
Tom Lawler, right? Or...
Lawler, thank you, Tom Lawler.
Yeah,
did that
there you go.
Yeah. But the fucking Nick Lentz looks like a retarded Conor McGregor, and that's like fucking, it's weird. All right, Dave, man, who you picking?
Yeah, man, I think the McBride guy, I think he could make it interesting. Like Fred said, they put him in this fight against Lentz because he has something. So what he brings to the table is, I think, his last 3 or 4 fights, or he could finish the fight via submission. So if Nick Lentz is going to try to lay and pray or go to take it to the ground, he might want to second guess that game plan because, yeah, that's pretty much is the Nick Lentz game plan that you're probably going to see in this fight. Let me ask you guys right now. It's a sort of I don't know if it's a trick question or if you guys would know right offhand. Who has more fights currently right now, Nick Lentz or Uriah Faber?
Nick Lentz.
That's correct. He's going to be it'll be his 18th UFC fight here. So the Carney has been around for forever too, just like CB Dalloway in a way. But this fight here, I think Lentz is fucking. It was lined up to be the Taisumov fight, so that would have been a great fight because both those guys are close in ranking. I think they're around like the upper 20s, lower 30s. So it would have been definitely a good fight because Taisumov is a tough bastard too. But I think Nick Lentz is probably going to go in here and more than likely train wreck the McBride guy here. I really like to see him do well. They put him in there for a reason, but I think he bounced around from Bellator and another organization leading up to this fight here. But Nick Lentz has got 18 UFC fights under his belt. I got to go with the Carney here as much as, like you guys said, nobody's really interested in seeing Nick Lentz fight anybody. I mean, he did try to raise the scuff to try to fight BJ Penn, and that shit didn't fall through. And this fight with Taisumov probably would have been the biggest fight of his career, being that it is his 18th UFC fight. So I'll take Nick Lentz here. I think he probably dominates.
All right. Well, look, here's the thing about Nick Lentz is he will dominate and bore the fuck out of you to win, and then he'll get up and think he's a hot shit and call out BJ Penn. Nobody wanted to watch that fight. Nobody wanted to see that. I remember saying no, fuck no. I don't see BJ Penn fight anymore, and I don't see Nick Lentz fight anybody ever. But you know, it is what it is. You get W's in this game. It's just how it works. All right, Jesse, your pick.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Dave over there. Nick Lentz, he's just got the experience on him. Again, I think we're gonna talk about this a lot. Pretty much throughout this card is experience in the octagon. You know, just cage knowledge and all that. It's gonna help. And I think, what is this at? 145, right?
This is lightweight.
So 155, okay.
Yep.
Short
I remember that. I remember that Nick Lentz was having a lot of problems with his weight. You know, and he kind of didn't have Dolce in his corner for this one. So I think we're going to see a very, very methodical Nick Lentz, probably utilizing that game plan that we all hate of, you know, lay and pray and just kind of winning points. But I think he's going to be able to do that pretty easily and take this win.
Look, man, I'm going to pick the other guy. I don't remember his name. McBride, whatever. In
Michael
hopes
McBride.
that, I'm hoping he just snubs his motherfucker in one hit. I really am. But I doubt it's going to happen. I'm pretty sure Lentz is going to win. But come on, McBride, you fuck. Get some shit done. All right. Moving on to the next fight here, we have a fucking list problem here because I can't. There we go. A middleweight bout. We got Brad Tavares against Kyle Magalhaes. Tavares, 13-4-0, 29 years old, out of Hawaii, Extreme Couture and MMA development. Last fight was a knockout loss to Robert Whittaker at Fight Night 65 back in May, which is the Stipe Mark Hunt card. So that was a fucking while ago. He knocked the fuck out, though. Taking on Hellboy Magalhaes, 28 years old, out of Brazil. And Dragon Fight, and of course, number you now. Last fight was a rear naked choke loss to. This is embarrassing. If you lose to Josh Simon, in my opinion, you should be embarrassed. Okay, badly embarrassed. Fuck that guy. Okay, you lost to the guy that took someone's back on the ground and said, "Hey, watch this!" Double fucking punches to the side of the head. That really killed Simon for me. Fuck that guy. All right. Anyway, but he lost to him at a tough finale back in July 2015. Neither one of these guys has fought in over a year, easily. So, both guys want to make an impression here. Dave, who you picking?
Yeah, I think, I'm leaning a little bit towards Tavares. I think he's got a better skill set. But like you said, both guys are just coming off a long layoff. It's hard to gauge, where this fight might go. I think it'll probably be a finish more than likely in this bout. I think, what's his name? He's got, I think Magalhães has got wins over, what's his best win? I'm trying to remember. I think he beat Trevor Smith. It's like his sixth or seventh MMA or UFC fight. So he's got some experience in there. So it's really one of those, split fights right down the middle. I think the Hellboy probably does enough to get it done. Like you said, Josh Salmon. I mean, Josh Salmon just suffered his first loss, right? He was like 9-0 previous to losing his first bout recently. But that submission choke didn't look good on his resume. But it's been such a long layoff. I don't like when these fighters are on long layoffs, and especially coming off finishes. So don't really know where this fight's going to go. A lot of unknowns here, but I'll go with Magalhães, the Hellboy, in this fight, though.
Fred Kirby, who you picking?
Okay, two things. A, this Brazilian is the one that's hideous looking. He's the one I was talking about. Fucking disgusting, this guy. B, I'm taking Tavares. I think who did Tavares get knocked out by? Robert Whitaker in his last fight.
Yeah. He's actually a heavy hitter. Whitaker can punch.
Yeah, exactly. Leading up to that fight, I think Brad Tavares was like kind of on a roll, man. And he was looking really good up to that point. So, Robert Whitaker's a hard hitter. He got knocked out by Dude. I'm not going to take that, hold that too much against him. I like Dude in this fight all day.
For sure. Update on the Nick Pilecki situation. He says, still stuck, cops came. LOL. God damn it.
Oh,
all right?
man.
Keep your hands on your side. Don't reach for shit, Nick. Fuck. Or at least Periscope. Oh, shit, we lost Jesse.
Damn. I love how it says that. Jesus left the call. Lord bless us.
I wish, look, people on YouTube can't see this shit, but it literally does say Jesus left the call. So you just... oh, it's the best shit. All right, we'll
to close that, the Magalhães Tavares fight, Tavares is ranked number 21 in the world, so he's just outside of the top 20, being that he's 2-3 in his last 5. So also a slight favorite, but it's kind of like an 82-18 fight for Tavares is what it looks like here.
All right. Hey, Jesse, before you give us your pick, when you left the call or the show, it literally says Jesus left the call. It's the best shit I've seen ever. Like, Jesus left the call was the best part. All right. Who you picking in this one, man?
I got Tavares, man. I think he hits harder. I think he's going to be able to hurt Magalhães, and just pretty much just put a beating on Magalhães. I haven't been impressed with Magalhães, so yeah, pretty much. I'll pretty much echo everything you guys were saying.
I'm taking Brad Tavares. Just like Kirby said, he was on a roll before. He just got caught. This is what happened. So I'm thinking he comes back. He took plenty of time off. So his chin's got to be healed up good enough. So hopefully he'll take care of business tomorrow night, and get back on win streak. All right. Moving on to the next bout here, women's bantamweight bout. Obviously 135ers. What up? Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So women's bantamweight bout. Number 10 Jessica Evil Eye against number 11 Betch. The millionth pitbull we have, Correa. Evil Eye's 11-5-0, won no contest. 30-year-old out of Cleveland, Ohio. The Strong Style Fight Team, same team as Mr. Yeah, exactly. Same team as Mr. Stipe Miocic. She's coming off a decision loss to Sarah McMahon at UFC Fight Night 88, which is that card where Garbrandt knocked the hell out of Almeida, and she is riding a 3-fight losing streak. So that's really. I mean, obviously they gave her a fight she can win in Betch Correa, who's 9-2-0, 33 years old out of Brazil. Last fight, a split decision loss to Raquel Pennington. She's riding a 2-fight losing streak. So this could possibly be a loser leaves town type of fight. But obviously, the hometown girl is going to be have some kind of advantages there, because at the weigh-ins, I don't know if you guys watch them or not, at the weigh-ins, Betch Correia does that thing where she gets really close to you. She like wants to smell your breath, or she wants to smell what your throat smells like. And Evil Eye was not having any of it. She just shoves her halfway across the stage. So and honestly, Betch Correia lost her mind, and Jessica Eye was just kind of laughing at it. So she's relaxed, seems focused, like ready to go. Kirby, who you picking?
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm not really impressed with either one of these broads. To be completely honest with you. And I hate to say that, I would really love to root for Jessica Eye because she's from Ohio. You know what I'm saying? She's a hometown girl. She trains with the champ. There's a lot of reasons for me to want to root for her, but she always be letting me down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, I'm fucking rooting for her this time because there is no more of a shittier bird than Betch Correia. I'm telling you right now, man, I just do not see her having much skills. I suppose she's a tough bird, but other than that, Betch Correia just has never really struck me as a very skilled fighter whatsoever. Jessica Eye is a bit of a underachiever, I think. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm sorry, a bit of an overachiever. What the fuck? I don't think she's all that incredibly talented either. But her jiu-jitsu's kind of slick. I think she'll have enough to win this fight. If not for anything, just because it's in her hometown. She'll be fighting with her homeboy Stipe. She'll have her whole crew there. They're both low-key shitbirds, but I think Jessica Eye will do enough to win the fight. I don't think we see a finish here because neither woman's all that great. So it'll probably be a relatively tedious fight that ends with a split, or a unanimous decision win for Jessica Eye.
All right, and of course, Mr. Mike Jarvis in the YouTube comments, our boys watching, he says Magal Hayes is one ugly dude. He looked him up apparently.
Ding, ding, ding.
And then he says Betch plays right into Eye's style, and she's not athletic at all. So, and I agree with that. I'm taking Jessica Eye by decision. Because Betch is a brawler. She gets in there just trying to swing as hard as she can, and Jessica Eye is way more technical, as you can get when it's these two girls, right? So, I'm picking Jessica Eye decision. Hometown girl gets a win, stays in the UFC. Jesse, who you picking?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm agreeing with you guys wholeheartedly there. I mean, Betch, like, what are her signature wins? The 3 of the 4 horsewomen or whatever,
Yeah,
that's what got her the win.
Yeah.
And Jessamine Duke, someone that's no longer in the UFC, that got KO'd horribly in her last fight, pretty much shouldn't be fighting. Shayna Baszler, who was great at one point, and paved the way for women's MMA, but she's past her prime as well. Now she's in wrestling, like WWE type wrestling. So, it's like she never impressed me with any of those wins. She was really, in my opinion, just beating up lower level, like basically, I don't know, like some backcountry, barn fight that they had, and she was beating those girls up, basically, just not really as talented people as she went up against, and then she got crushed by Ronda Rousey, and then what was her last fight? It was a decision loss, right?
Yeah, Raquel Pennington.
Yeah, Pennington. Pennington is getting there. She's starting to kind of at least improve. So I don't know, man. I think Jessica Eye has enough to beat her as long as she doesn't get hit by one of those wild, crazy punches in the first 30 seconds. I think she's going to be able to avoid all that and probably knock out Betch just like Ronda Rousey did or something. So. Yeah,
here's the thing. Betch Correia, the only reason any of us know her name is because of Ronda Rousey. It was one of those girls that you just fed to Ronda Rousey before Ronda ran into that awful kick heard around the world called Holly Holm's foot. But regardless, I gotta give Correia a little bit of credit. She's a tough broad. She really is. I thought Raquel Pennington should have been able to tag her up and beat her like full-handedly if she took her split. So it is what it is. Dave, who are you picking?
Yeah, I definitely got to take Jessica Eye as much as I think you guys said it or Fred said it. You picked her many times and she's let you down. I got to go with her in this one. She's got the hometown, got the hometown support. I always like to root for fighters in their hometown, especially in this circumstance here where they pretty much put Betch Correia against her to lose, and that's kind of crazy because, she's 2 fights removed from a title bout, which they pretty much buried her down in Brazil when Ronda beat her down there. So. And Jesse also mentioned her 2 wins are not that great in the UFC. Jessamine Duke, Shayna Baszler, but coming off the weigh-ins, I don't know if you guys all caught it earlier. I think Betch is probably going to come in swinging wild, and hopefully Evil Eye is ready to go and catch her, because I think that opportunity is going to present itself. In Jessica's interview leading up to this event, she said that her father had passed away before her previous bout with Sarah McMahon. So I picked her to win that fight, but I absolutely did not know that was the circumstance leading up to that. So she's made a lot of changes in her camp. Fred has said, she's up there with Stipe, training with the champ in her backyard. I think she gets the job done. I think she said she hired a sports psychologist, so she's making the necessary changes to try to get her win, get a win under her belt here, remain in the UFC, because she's definitely aware that this fight could be a loser goes home, possibly on both sides if it's a shitty fight, I think.
Yeah, very possible, right? It's just a really boring, awful fight. They could both get handed out. So, all right, so that will be the featured prelim on your FS1 prelims, 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Let's go baseball or NASCAR this weekend because that just blows. Because no one has FS2. That's just the dumbest thing you could do is have FS2, really. All right.
What the hell? You always say that. Come on, I have it. Just like ESPN.
Fucked up. Then why would you? What the fuck? All right. Oh, Fang is online saying, yo, 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 yo. What up, Fang? Do your thing. All right. Moving on. Main card.
Hey,
pay-per-view.
Wait. Has Nick checked in yet on YouTube comments? Make sure he's not dead yet.
Not yet. Nick, if you can hear us, fucking,
The Nick Pilecki update.
Hands up, don't shoot, or something like that. Like when you're fucking out there. Again, UFC main card on pay-per-view, 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern time. Women's strawweight bout. You got number 6 Jessica Andrade against number 7 JoJo Calderwood. Andrade 14-5-0, 24 years old, out of Brazil, and the Piranha Vale Tudo fight team. Last fight was a TKO win over Jessica Penne at 199 or UFC 199 June of this year. Then JoJo Calderwood 11-1-0 out of Scotland. Last fight was a TKO win over Valerie Letourneau at Fight Night McDonald vs. Thompson in June. So both girls fought recently or pretty recently. And there's I don't know if you guys saw the face-offs or anything, but there's a nice height difference in favor of Miss Calderwood. So I'm assuming she's going to be able to use that jab pretty well on her. So Kirby, who you picking?
Man, I'm not really impressed with JoJo. I haven't been impressed with JoJo for a long time, to be honest with you. I always feel like we're going to see something that we're just not. You know what I'm saying? What's her nickname? Dr. Neville?
Neville. Yeah, Dr. Neville.
Yeah, I don't see it, quite frankly. I never see it. I don't know, man. She's always like this magnificent striking game. Quite frankly, I think she's going to get starched in this fight. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that she will either get knocked out in the first round or possibly if she survives the early onslaught, then maybe she'll make it. But I think that it's a first-round TKO loss for JoJo. I think the gig is up with her, Jack.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I've been waiting for that Dr. Neville to actually kick in, right? Muay Thai champ and all that. And it hasn't come through.
Right.
It hasn't come through at all.
Yeah. And listen, not only has it not come through, but she's almost looked trepidatious and timid in her fights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She backs off on her strikes. Maybe she'll surprise me and open up and really show that Muay Thai background. But for some reason, it just seems like she's really having a hard time pulling the trigger. In all of her fights, it seems like, man. And Andrade is not the right broad to not be able to pull the trigger against. You know what I'm saying? Because she's going to come out guns a-blazing. She's got that old school fucking Vanderlei fight style, man.
No kidding.
And with JoJo being all trepidatious and starting off all timid, I just don't think it's a good mix for JoJo, man. I don't like her chances here. If she survives that initial onslaught, Andrade might gas, and things could be different in the second or third round. But I think she gets starched in the first round, dog.
Yeah, you know what, and I'm with you. Andrade, just like you said, she's not the chick you want to be shy with. If you're gonna go with Andrade, you gotta go and just go, go fucking balls to the wall, whatever. Because otherwise you're gonna get starched. But I'm picking Andrade as well, and I'm picking her by finish. I don't think it's gonna go 3 rounds at all. So this should be hopefully it's an exciting start to the pay-per-view. Jesse, who are you picking?
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think I really, really agree with Fred in that I have been utterly disappointed with JoJo. I mean, you hear all this stuff about her striking game. You hear all this stuff about how she's a killer. I haven't seen it, man. And what makes it worse for me is she does the same thing as Johnny Hendricks. Mm-hmm. Always an excuse. There's always an excuse. It was her fight camp. she was having this problem, she was having that problem, she just did this, she just did. It's always an excuse with why she's not performing to her abilities, quote unquote abilities that we have yet to see. So I mean I'm done with picking her. I can't see her winning this fight. And Andrade, she dropped in weight, right, for this fight.
Right, she used to fight at 135, now she's at 115, which is way better for her, honestly. Especially like size and height-wise, is way better for her.
And I think that's what's going to pay off for her. And the other thing is that her JoJo's last fight was at 125 because it's her to make the weight. So I think all this accumulated, all her excuses, all her BS, basically, in my opinion, is just going to catch up with her here. And I think Andrade is going to be the one to make her finally, cash that check that she's always talking about. I think she's going to get KO'd.
Look, yeah, and I'm with you on that. And I mean, who knows? Andrade might be the one that wakes up a sleeping beast, right? She might be the one that gets her to finally just be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going balls out. And if I get knocked out, I get knocked out. Who cares, right? But I don't see it. I haven't seen. I mean, even against Violet Letourneau, what happened? Letourneau's shirt got all loose and her bra was all fucked up, and she caught her. Like it just, it sucks because that's also an excuse for her win, for JoJo's win. So I don't know. It's kind of a shitty situation for her. Dave, who you picking, man?
Yeah, a lot of good analysis there. I agree on a lot of that. That said, I'm going with JoJo. I'm picking JoJo in this fight. I just think that the Letourneau fight, great point, like you said, Eddie, about the wardrobe malfunction. That could be used as an excuse. I kind of gauge the Letourneau win as JoJo proving her keep in the UFC. It was at a different weight class, but we all know after that fight, she negotiated a new contract. She's paid a lot better now, so she's able to hire a nutritionist, all that good stuff in the camp, and have a better fight preparation. So this fight coming into it, I think Andrade is the girl that JoJo definitely doesn't want to be gun shy against. Like Fred said, she can't come out slow at all because Andrade's she's like John Lineker in a way in her own. So I think the fight could easily be stopped in the first round. I think JoJo could surprise everybody, and that's why the reason why I'm picking her, because Andrade is pretty much prospected as one of the next contenders to rise up and possibly fight Joanna, in which we know Joanna and KK have a date set up here in a couple months. But I think JoJo probably gets the job done. I think it'll be a war. I think it'll be a very exciting fight. I think it could be a fight of the night here, but that said, if it goes to 3 rounds, I think Andrade is going to make it real tough for her in that first round. And coming out slow is going to be a bad night for JoJo Calderwood coming out slow against Andrade, absolutely.
Yeah, we got kind of a split here in the comments. Mike Jarv saying, I got Andrade in this one. She's a beast at this weight. And then Fang says, I still pick Calderwood. I got more faith than y'all. It ain't about faith, dude. It's about what she's done. But still.
Listen, do you guys think that JoJo could possibly come out and surprise her and out-grapple her?
Maybe. I agree with you. I mean, she has wrinkles that she hasn't shown us yet that she claims to have, but we haven't seen them. And I think that's the big. I think this topic that we're talking about is going to translate to a fight later on that me and Fred are going to be really interested in. That we just don't know. There's so many things that we have not seen yet. And it's unproven. There's so many unproven things that people a lot of pundits, professional analysts have a lot of faith in JoJo and saying that she can do this, she can do that, but we haven't seen it. And if we haven't seen it, how can you put faith in that? None of her performances has shown any of those things, but there are people out there that say that she's a beast and she could beat everybody in the division, but still haven't seen it, man. Again, I was laughing because Dave was mentioning that she re-signed a new contract. Yeah, because after that fight, she was complaining that she couldn't even eat. That she was paid so low and all this stuff. And yet again, to me, another excuse of why her performance wasn't up to snuff and all this stuff. It's just excuse after excuse. I can't deal with that.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying here, but the way I gauge this with JoJo specifically is if we put her in the cage with the champ, okay, and they're both Muay Thai champs. We're pretty clear the champ's going to smoke her if it's just Muay Thai, right?
KK will smoke her too.
KK could destroy her too. So that's the way I see it. If she can't, if I don't think she can even compete with the #1 contender or the champ, it's just not there, man, at all. But you do need you need bodies for divisions at this point, especially ones like that. All right, moving on to the next fight here. Bantamweight bout between #2 Uriah, or the California Grandpa, Uriah Faber, versus #12 Jimmy Rivera, way younger, by about 11 years. No, 10 years. He's 10 years younger than Grandpa. So, again, the California Grandpa Faber, 33-9-0, 37 years old, out of Sacramento, California, Team Alpha Male, Team Alpha Fail, Alpha Midgets, Alpha Bale, whatever you want to come up with at this point. It's all fucking interchangeable at this point. His last fight was a decision loss against Dominic Cruz at UFC 199 back in June. Of course, we saw that fight. And meanwhile, El Terror Rivera, 19-1-0, 27 years old out of New Jersey, Team Tiger Showman. Last fight was a decision win over Yuri Alcantara at UFC on Fox 18. That was that Rumble Bader fight that made everyone feel just sick to their stomach at the end of it. In January, 17-fight win streak. 17-fight win streak for Rivera. So he's not a punk. Obviously not all 17 fights in the UFC, right? Only a couple in the UFC. But it's still 17 guys that couldn't beat this dude. Taking on a very experienced veteran. Dave, who you picking?
Yeah, like you said, Jimmy Rivera's got a long streak riding into this bout. I think it's his 4th UFC fight, though, above him on. You mentioned the Tiger Shillman, Kyokushin background, or that style. Definitely love that style. I think Jimmy Rivera is going to be a tough matchup for Uriah Faber. I think it's a fight where Jimmy Rivera just takes that next step. I think he's ranked number 15 in the world at that weight class. So I think he makes that next step with a huge win over, a named guy like Uriah Faber, a top guy, still ranked number 3. It'll be Uriah Faber's 42nd pro fight. So Uriah's been around, like we mentioned in the Advocates. He's fought everybody. He's the Jim Kelly of MMA. But I think in the weigh-ins here, you kind of seen that Uriah, like the weight cuts, just real. It's tough for the guy. I mean, he walks around at 20 or 30 pounds, above, when he cuts down. So it's kind of, at that age where Uriah is at, it's always a problem when fighters get a little long in the tooth and making these big weight cuts. So right. I think if you're not familiar with Jimmy Rivera, he did have I think the loss that everybody is referring to, or what it is, the Dennis Bermudez loss from the Ultimate Fighter. And that Ultimate Fighter series produced guys like John Dodson, Dillashaw, Brandao, Benavidez, Caraway. I mean, that season was random as shit. It was Bisbing and Mayhem Miller. But, hey, you name all those guys there. You got a champion in there, a guy who's competed for the title a couple of times. So, yeah, it's Jimmy Rivera is the next wave in that division. I think he gets the job done. I think he's going to probably, put it on Uriah early in the fight. But if Uriah has proven that, the tough bastard that he is, he could grind it out to the 3rd round, taking shots. And I think Jimmy Rivera is going to be just a little bit too much for Uriah Faber. But it'll be an exciting fight, though.
Yeah, Kirby, who you picking?
Listen, man, y'all said it. Uriah Faber is the Jim Kelly of MMA. And Jim Kelly didn't lose no goddamn playoff games. You understand me? Yeah. Uriah Faber don't lose no playoff games, Jack. He loses the big one.
Yeah.
But he don't lose no playoff games. I don't think he's going to lose this fight, man. Listen, he lost to Dominic Cruz. He loses to the best of the best. And if you're not the best of the best, you don't beat Uriah Faber. As annoying as it is, the cute little prick is still a pretty good fighter. He can still beat most fucking little men in the world. I'll put it to you like this, though. I will say that if Uriah does lose this fight, I think that clearly his best days are behind him. That's no disrespect to Jimmy Rivera. I just think that this is a fight that Uriah should win. If he does not, then he's clearly past his expiration date, and it's time to be enough with him too. He should, start coaching.
Yeah.
With Uriah though, 2nd to 3rd round submission. Come on, the California Grandpa. You're such a disrespectful prick, Eddie. The California Grandpa.
Oh, because I'm honest about what I think of this motherfucker? Fine. I'll be an asshole. I don't give a shit. Anyway.
Jesus Christ. The grandpa?
Yeah, he's 37.
Oh!
That's what, what's his name? Dominic Cruz was snapping at him, calling him the California Grandpa, too, leading up to that fight. So I've heard that before.
All right. Look. Oh, shit. Here we go. Fang says, I got Faber. Huge fan of Faber and his style. I got a decision picked. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a ground finish. And he says, can't believe I'm typing these words. I agree with Kirby for once. You got a fan. Anyway, Jesse, who you picking, man?
Man, it's a hard one to pick, honestly, because
it is not a hard one to pick. Goddammit, come on.
Okay, hear my point here. I think Jimmy Rivera is probably the future of this division, because he's been improving. And he shows that he's been getting better and better. His level of competition, I think this is a huge step up in competition. So this is kind of going to be that stepping stone. If he can jump over the stepping stone and do something spectacular, that's going to be his that little push that he needs to really break into the top 15 maybe, top 20, and really start rolling along towards the title shot.
Top 10.
That being said, that being said though, I think the downside is that for Uriah Faber, if you've seen his last couple fights, when he fought Frankie Edgar, he just was not his self in that fight. Like he was tentative, he was shy, like throw strikes against Frankie Edgar, and I think honestly his best are behind at this point. I still believe that he can win this fight because that's what he does. Like Fred said, he wins all these nobody fights basically. Anybody they put in front of him, no matter how good they are, he finds a way to beat them. But he can't do that against the champs. So I mean, it's really hard for me to pick, especially he's a Cali guy. So, but I'm just gonna go ahead and go with Uriah Faber. I can't betray my Cali guy.
Of course you can't. It's pretty obvious. I'm taking Rivera by decision, but I do agree with the jump in competition. It's a huge step up for Rivera. But I think the UFC is like, look, man, it's time for you to make a name, and we're gonna give you someone that you can make a name off of, but you're gonna have to step up and beat him. So with Faber, you're probably not gonna finish him. It's really difficult to finish Uriah Faber, so you gotta give him that credit. I think he's gonna go decision win for Rivera. But Faber's just a tough bastard. And for a lot of people saying that he could retire, I don't buy it. I think he goes one more. I think he wants to fight in the West Coast one more time. He wants to fight near home just one more time, and then call it quits if he's going to. I think. But you never know. All right.
This fight, if he wins this fight, I would like to see him get at least one more fight against some kind of a name. All due respect to Rivera.
In Cali, though.
Something. So, yeah, TJ. Some kind of fight that matters a little bit for Uriah Swan Song. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Jimmy Rivera's a good kid.
So you can beat up that snake in the grass?
That'd be legit.
I'm down. That'd be a fun fight.
There you go. All right. Moving on to one of the most talked about bouts. One of the most talked about sort of fighters, I guess, in the last year and a half, 2 years. And one of the most talked about bouts on this card. People say they don't belong in the main card. Look, it's business decision. It's what it is. We got Mr. CM Punk, Phil Brooks, 0-0 out of Chicago, Illinois, in Rufus Sport. 37 years old, making his MMA debut. Never fought before. All right. Making his MMA debut against Mickey Gall, 2-0, 24 years old, out of New Brunswick, New Jersey. Miller Brothers MMA, of course, Jim and his brother over there in New Jersey. His last fight was that rear naked choke win over Mike Jackson at Fight Night 82. Hendricks vs. Thompson in February. He is riding a 2-fight win streak. Okay. I'll go first here. Here's the thing about this fight. That at first I was all about Mickey Gall, right? I was like, yeah, Mickey Gall's going to beat his ass, whatever. But then I started thinking about it. Like, this kid is as unproven and as inexperienced, almost as inexperienced as CM Punk, right? And then I watched the weigh-ins, the little fake weigh-ins. And that is fucking with my head now, okay? Because, Mickey weighs in, then CM Punk weighs in, and Mickey Gall's standing there with his hand outstretched for a handshake, and CM Punk gets in his face, and Mickey Gall's hand drops, and he starts talking immediately. You know what that tells me? Scared and nervous. A young kid is scared and nervous. CM Punk knows the head games. The guy's older. He's been around, right? Sure, only in WWE, but he's been around. So it started fucking on my head immediately. I'm like, fuck, like this Mickey Gall kid might be so jacked and amped up and nervous. He might come out and do something stupid and get caught with something. You know what I mean? And that's just in the last, fucking 15 hours since I watched the weigh-in. So you got to start thinking to CM Punk have a shot. First of all, it's MMA. Everyone's got a shot, right? But now with CM Punk like balls deep in Mickey Gall's head after this no handshake stare down type of thing, Mickey Gall he looked nervous, he looked scared, and so my pick is like super shaky right now. I'm just like, fuck, goddamn it, Gall, you could have just been a dick. Just don't say shit. Stare him down and go about your business. But no, had to start talking shit and show that you're a little kid that's all nervous. So, Fred, we know who you're picking, but what do you think about this fight?
So listen, man, all the theatrics and jive talk aside, you made a good point, man. Everybody, I think, has been really down on Phil Brooks because he has no experience. But Mickey Gall only has a cunt hair's more experience than him. Mm-hmm. And where did you say that Mickey Gall is training at with the Miller brothers?
Yeah, New Jersey. Yeah.
Listen, as much as I respect and like Jim and Dan Miller, they're no fucking Rufus Sport.
No.
Duke Rufus has a fucking legit gym and is a legit ass coach. CM Punk is not the first guy that Duke Rufus has introduced to martial arts. You know what I'm saying? I think that if anybody in the game knows how to take somebody like that and get them ready, Duke Rufus is that type of guy. He's got people like Anthony Pettis, Ben Askren, and Duke himself at his personal fucking beck and call for like the last 2 years, basically, getting this guy ready for one fight against a guy that's pretty well evenly matched against him. Now, all that being said, maybe Mickey Gall's a good kid, and maybe he is tough, and Phil Brooks doesn't take this shit seriously, and he gets in there and gets punched in his face and has a holy shit moment. But I would imagine that Duke Rufus and them don't want to look like assholes. So I would imagine they've had somebody knock the piss out of CM Punk in the gym already and get this guy ready for what it's going to remotely be like. They've got the killers in there. You know they've probably let fucking Anthony Pettis go kind of hard on him. You know they've let Ben Askren hold him down and just suck the soul out of him in a couple places. So they've got the talent. It's all going to come down to exactly fucking what Phil Brooks is. I guess that's what makes this fight interesting. We're going to find out if this dude actually can fight a little bit. I'm going to say he can. I'm going to say that he's athletic enough and he's been taught enough that Mickey Gall's not. I think it's kind of funny that people just act like Mickey Gall's just going to steamroll him.
Right.
He might, but it's MMA, and the dude's been fucking personally training with, you know, top flight guys for a long time, and at the very least, he's kind of athletic. I mean, to be in the WWE, the WWF, what have you, you got to at the very least be kind of athletic. You know, lots of running, jumping. You know, the dude's not a not athletic guy. His jiu-jitsu and his grappling is probably pretty legit. So, all that being said, yeah, I'm picking fucking CM Punk, and I tell you what, I'm picking him by first-round submission.
Damn.
I think that the dude's probably got a decent ground game. I think that he knows just enough stand-up. I think that Duke Rufus and them know this, and I think they're going to have him strike just enough to set up a takedown, and I think they feel like if they can get CM Punk on top of this kid in the first round, just like what you said, Eddie, all the pressure, all the nerves, all the stress, he'll make a mistake, and I think CM Punk gets a rear naked choke. I don't think he's going to pull off no triangles or no fucking anacondas. I think he'll get a takedown. He'll eventually get top control, land a couple little sissy punches, and eventually get a rear naked choke. And people are going to be like, oh, my fucking God, CM Punk won.
Yeah, and then they'll feed him someone, like, decently legit if he continues fighting, and then he'll get starched. But here's the thing. A couple comments here on YouTube. Fang says, I would like to comment. I watched the weigh-in. CM Punk totally got to Mickey's head. He looked like a boy scared. He looked like he had to go change his shorts afterwards. Mike Jarb says he did look like a scared little boy. And then Fang says CM Punk by decision. Move on, discussion over. And then Mike Jarb makes a really good point that I was going to make earlier and I completely forgot to. That Gall's first win in the UFC was against a blogger. Mike Jackson's a writer. He's a blogger. Yeah. You know, he boxes on the side and all that, but he's a blogger. So it wasn't a guy that's been fighting forever. Like MMA.
Listen, and one last point before I'm done with this. We said before, Joe Silva's very good at his job. Okay, they low key handpicked Mickey Gall. Believe me when I tell you, the powers that be would like to see CM Punk win and to ride this money train on. So. This is not the WWF. It's not set up by any stretch. But don't bullshit yourself. They picked the guy that they think CM Punk grow to be. Mickey Gall's not there to win, Jack. He's there to lose.
And it's, it's very possible. Just like you said, they did handpick him to give Punk somebody he could beat. So it's kind of it is well, in that way it's kind of a weird fight too. Jesse, who you picking, man?
Look, I agree with everything Fred said. I agree. But it's a hard thing for me. No. It's hard for me to
oh
to
shit,
really
he's alive!
insult
What up?
somebody.
He's fucking alive!
You didn't get shot!
You didn't get shot, boy!
I'm alive, guys. I'm alive.
Alright, very quickly, what the fuck happened?
I'm alive and well and ready to watch CM Punk win. My door was not deadbolt locked. The bolt just wouldn't want to turn, so I'm alive. No one was broken into our house.
Whoa. Well, wait a minute. Are you saying you was late to the show because you was too much of a pussy to get your deadbolt to turn?
It wouldn't turn, man. It wouldn't turn. I couldn't get in my apartment complex. They told me to call security, so I did.
Oh,
Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh, God.
You couldn't have called the police because you couldn't turn the fucking deadbolt?
Hey, man, I thought people were in my apartment trying to kill me, man, because I'm going for CM Punk this weekend.
This motherfucker. All right, so now we know who he's picking.
Wow.
All right, Jesse, so who you picking, man?
Wrestling Mark over there.
Yeah.
Okay, like I'm gonna address a couple things. So Eddie, what you were saying about the weigh-ins and stuff, it's obvious that CM Punk was gonna be able to win the verbal and the mental aspect. We all knew that because he's good at getting reactions out of people. He's been training that for years and years and years. You know, learning how the psyche of people work. You know, learning how to be the heel, learning how to be the face, learning all those things. So that's nothing to me. I knew he was going to be able to do that. I was waiting for him to turn it up earlier, but at least we got something out of that. But the thing, I think the thing that you guys aren't really seeing here is the fact that at least Mickey Gall already has been in a fight that no matter what you do, you cannot simulate what it's like to be in a cage against somebody else. Because for all the training you can do, you can bring people in there to kind of pop you around a little bit. You could get people to really put the pressure on you. But those guys aren't trying to kill you. Those guys aren't trying to put your lights out. They may be trying to push you, but they're not trying to hurt you. They're not trying to, knock your head off with every punch that they're trying to throw at you. There's no way the only way to simulate that is literally if Duke Rufus took CM Punk with him to the local bar, pointed out the biggest guy in the room and goes, hey, go hit that guy and go get in a bar fight with that guy. That's the only way he would have been able to simulate a fight. And I don't think he's ready for what's gonna happen. But all in all said, the first punch of this fight is what's going to tell us if CM Punk is ready for the UFC. Once he gets hit, it's either going to be he's going to just get hit and continue moving, or he's going to get the Brock Lesnar face and start moving back. Once that first punch lands, that's when we're going to see where we're at with CM Punk. So, I made the bet, and I'm going to keep it. So my mustache against Fred Kirby's beard over there, I'm just saying my mustache ain't going nowhere.
Shit, you know what's funny? For the last minute and a half, you should have seen Fred's face while you were talking. That's the best shit ever.
Listen, all due fucking respect. He did have a real fight against Ariel Helwani. Okay?
Oh my!
Come the fuck on!
I died, guys. I got shot.
Oh shit! There you go. All right, go ahead, Fred. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah. Dave, who you picking, man?
Man, a lot of great points, guys. I know Jesse called us out on Advocates as we kind of were once to rag on CM Punk, and now we're kind of siding with him leading into this much anticipated fight here we have. But I think with that said, I think what Fred made a great point on Advocates earlier this week, and I'm rooting for CM just in that point alone. It's basically like, if Mickey Gall wins, like what do you do with Mickey Gall? Like what the fuck goes from there? And with CM Punk, you still have all this interest. And Jesse, also you made a great point as well, saying that it's an unknown thing where if CM's able to step in there with minimum skills and actually, earn a win in the UFC octagon. So nobody's yet to do that. So I think that's very fucking interesting. And I want to see CM Punk do well. He's dedicated a lot of time to healing up, whether it was surgeries that he had and, pushing this fight as far back as it did. You guys said that Mickey Gall was a hand-picked opponent in which Mickey Gall actually called out CM Punk, and that's when he got his shot. And then they actually had to, do the alternate thing with Mike Jackson and throw him in there, in which Mickey Gall laid waste to him. So I think, I'm rooting for Punk in this one. I think he's going to surprise everybody, as he already has with the weigh-ins today and everything else. Like he's an authentic character. He knows what he's in for. I think he's pretty much been tested a little bit in that Duke Rufus camp. I think he's probably got some slick submission, like Fred said. There's a chance that I think their preparation for this bout is to expect the fight to go to the mat, in which Mickey Gall is going to be super aggressive. We've seen his reaction in the weigh-in stare down today. So look for it to be, like Jesse said, the first punch. We'll know what's going down right after the first punch. I see Mickey Gall not taking a punch as well as CM Punk. Neither of them are going to take a punch well. So I think if the fight goes to the ground, it's probably going to finish likely on the ground. I'm taking CM Punk in the fight.
Hey Fred, how sad are you going to be if this turns into like the James Toney thing where Mickey Gall goes for like a crappy takedown and CM Punk goes down like a tree and then just gets beat down?
Listen, I guarantee you, CM Punk will not be that bad for sure. He can't possibly. Listen, you know what I was just wondering?
I know.
We've all seen some interviews with CM Punk. Have you guys seen the interviews the Ariel's done with him and all blase?
Yeah.
Has anybody asked CM Punk if he has been in street fights growing up?
That's true. No,
I'm just curious. I'm just curious if the man's ever really did he used to get in a lot of street fights? Because quite frankly, just kind of looking at him, he low-key looks like the dude that could take a punch. Brock Lesnar kind of looks like the guy's got a baby face. You know what I'm saying? He's huge, but he kind of looks like if you cracked him right in his jaw. You know what I'm saying? CM Punk low-key looks like a gutter punk that you could smack in the face with a baseball bat, and it wouldn't hurt him that terribly bad. He looks like an old meth head, kind of. You know what I mean?
Sort of.
Take a fucking shit kicking and keep on going.
He trolled everybody with his weight cut, too, because everybody was thinking that he's going to have a tough weight cut. He definitely trolled everybody with that. And like you said, Freddie looks like, or he was looking like, you know, your uncle at a backyard fucking drunken barbecue. But I think he looked a lot better at the weigh-in today. He looked great. I'll admit that.
He might be low-key kind of tough.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
I agree with you guys. And I think one of the most telling things was the Duke Rufus interview that he did with him where, you know, they asked him, like, you're okay with all that video being out there? And he was like, yeah, that stuff's old. You know, he's improved. You know, we've already gotten past that. Yeah, but again, it's completely different from being in the spotlight, not knowing what's going to happen. I think there's a lot of factors here. And even though me and Fred are on opposite sides, I think we're both saying the same thing. We don't know, man. I picked a side and he picked a side, but I think we both are in the same boat that we don't know what the intangibles are. I mean, you know, CM Punk being older, injuries, all that stuff. And plus, think about this. He wasn't an athletic guy when he was in high school, college, and none of that stuff. He didn't become athletic until he had to be in the WWE. And he's just a hard worker. That's what we do know. He's got a big work ethic, and he's got heart. So I mean, those two things could carry him pretty far in a fight if he's willing to put that on the line. Again, all intangibles.
Listen. I know we got to get off this fucking fight, guys. But quickly, before we get off this fight, I'm kind of curious about this angle of this fight. So say CM Punk comes out and he wins, right? Do you think that'll cause an influx of WWE guys wanting to actually give this a whirl and being like, yo, fuck, I'm big, I'm strong. If CM Punk's little funny ass could do it, do you think this could be a game changer to where we could actually see a lot more guys not just talk about it and think about it, but flat go ahead and say, fuck it, let's go try to compete?
None unless they've been around for a long time, because those guys get paid way more than most fighters. So
there'll be a few of them. Yeah, there'll be a few of them that do pop up.
Yeah, I can only see a select few of them that I can name off the top of my head, but not a lot. Not everyone's going to be like, oh, let's just go do this. It's going to be a select few. But, hey, he might be changing the game like everyone said.
And plus, I think the big thing with a lot of those old-time wrestlers is the concussions. You know, a lot of those guys just on a daily get concussions. You know, slamming your head against the mat, it's not fun, man. I did that for a bit, and I mean the headaches you get after hitting yourself on the mat, no matter how well you learn how to do the falls, those headaches stay there for a while, man. I mean, you're rattling your brain. You're basically getting punched in the head, like, 50, 60 times in just practicing. So I mean, I could see, like you guys said, some of the lower tier guys maybe trying it out, seeing if they can make some money, but I don't think none of the guys that have a lot of tenure.
And also to close up this argument here with the CM fight, like I said, I'm picking the fight based off Fred saying that the show stops with Mickey Gall winning the fight. So I think you guys will all agree. We're all in agreement that we're kind of rooting for CM to get the win. And to make sure, where the UFC is going, we know that's going to generate a lot of interest. And then, like you said, a couple other fighters may try to venture in. We know Sean Merriman's in Bellator now, so
Yeah,
there's a lot of crazy shit going on these days. So all in all, we've all made our picks, but we all kind of are somewhat rooting for CM to win, in which, like Fred made the point, that the show stops if he does lose the fight.
Right. Yeah, make it interesting, at least, right? But here's the thing, real quick, on Jesse's point. Everyone's got a plan till they get punched in the mouth. Everybody has a plan till they get popped right in the mouth, and then it's like, oh shit, instinct time, right? So I mean, that's one way to see it. And then a couple comments here on YouTube before we move on. Fang says for a while he had the motto that since he was never able to go to the dojo for jiu-jitsu often, he refused to go for stripes. Every once in a while when you're training, your professor will, whoever's in charge, your coach will say, okay, we got stripes and promotions this weekend. Make sure you all show up so we can test these guys out. He refused to go to that. But now that he can go, every day to jiu-jitsu, he is going to stripes. And we saw on the show he got one of his stripes. So you don't get a stripe unless you earn that, right? In jiu-jitsu for sure.
Right.
And he earned a legit stripe. So you gotta give him a little bit of edge there. And then a lot of people are saying in his gym, people in his gym say his jiu-jitsu is way better, way above white belt. Yeah, I'm not saying, look, his jiu-jitsu for sure is way better than Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar just recently got a blue belt, right? So it's that kind of thing. And then Fang for some reason says that I hate his comment. So go fuck yourself, Fang. I read it, bitch. All right. Moving on to the next fight. Co-main event of the evening, a heavyweight bout. Former champion, #1 ranked for Fabricio Verdum against #6 Travis Brown. Was supposed to be Ben Rothwell. Bravo pulled out due to injury, and Travis Brown stepped up, coming off that loss to Kane at UFC 200 to try to get a real quick jump back into the contention. So, Vai Calvao Verdum, he's 26-1, 39 years old, out of Brazil. Verdum Combat Team, and of course Kings MMA out of California. His last one was a knockout loss where he lost the belt to Stipe at UFC 198 in May in Brazil in front of his hometown. So obviously he wants that belt, and he even said at every interview in the pre-fight press conference that he wanted to fight on this card specifically to kind of keep that timeline going to be able to fight for the belt hopefully soon. I think Kane has a lot to say about that, especially with the way he went. He's got to get some kind of super impressive finish in order to beat Kane out for a title shot, in my opinion, of course. And I'm a Kane fan, so of course, Jesse's gonna come out with his with his Kings MMA RDA hat to start talking shit. Anyway, Hapa Travis Brown, 18-4-1, 34 years old, out of San Diego, California, in the weird Glendale Fight Club, and that's the best adjective I give him is weird. I can't say they're good because we've seen him. Anyway, his last fight was at TKO, lost to Kane at UFC 200 in July. So we got a former champ. And we got a guy that was literally this close to a title shot and just out of reach, right? With a couple losses there. Dave, who you picking?
Yeah, it's an interesting fight here. I know it's a great rematch. I think Travis Brown's only been preparing for this fight for 2 to 3 weeks. It's pretty short notice for him. So we all know those fights end up being a lot of craziness ends up happening. So in this particular matchup here, we got Fabricio Verdum coming off of getting starched in front of 40,000 people, Stipe silencing the place. So I think Fabricio this time around, I kind of like that he's not doing the whole troll face thing and fucking around too much. I think he took that shit too far in Brazil, and he admitted it himself that he wasn't focused on the fight. So this time around, he looks like he's ready to go. But Travis Brown, on the other hand, has fought him before. He went 5 rounds with him before, and I think he was able to get up every time Fabricio took him down. So I think Travis Brown knows what he's in for in this fight. Like you mentioned, Eddie, Coach Edmond at Glendale Fight Club. Weird, he's still there. At the time when he fought the first time, he was affiliated with Jackson's gym then. So I used to see Travis running down the street frequently around the time of that fight. So I think, this is one where it's going to get Fabricio probably into the title talk. But he's got to finish Travis Brown though, I think, because Kane's sitting pretty right now. In a fast track into the next title shot, and we'll know on the end of this night what's going to be the next step in the heavyweight division. But I think I just think Fabricio coming off that devastating knockout, it's not gonna be good for him because Travis hits hard. If he gets into a stand-up war with him this time around, short notice, I think Travis could crack him, possibly make it tough in the early rounds because definitely it's a 3-round fight. So I think Fabricio is known to have the deadly ground attack. See the fight, going there for sure. I'm sure Fabricio is going to do all he can to get it there. But I think Travis has got some decent boxing. He's got a great stand-up. He's got some kicks. I think he did enough the first time and enough experience in there with Fabricio that he'll be comfortable this time around. and probably shoot for an upset. I'm picking Verdum, but Travis Brown is going to probably make it way fucking interesting, though.
Yeah, here's the thing about it, though, before we move on here to Fred. Verdum got knocked out, and he's coming back pretty quick. A lot of the guys that come back from knockouts and take on heavy hitters like a Travis Brown, it's kind of rough, right? Meanwhile, Travis Brown also coming off a TKO loss where he got hit in the chin quite a bit. So it's kind of even. And Verdum's got legit stand-up now, okay? Rafael Cordero's no bitch. He fucking taught him how to throw and throw real well. So, Fred, who you picking, man?
Listen, to be honest, there's no real good reason to pick Travis Brown in this fight, right? I mean, they fought once before, and Verdum whipped that ass pretty handily. Verdummy also submitted Kane, who just threw Travis a beating like 24 fucking hours ago. Quite frankly, this fight barely makes sense. But all that being said, I tell you what, I'm picking Hoppa. You know why? Because I'll tell you something. I've been saying this for the Jump Street, and I think that RDA and Fabricio Verdum are cheaters. That's right. I think they both cheated their way to the belt, and I thought they were lucky enough to not get caught. How the fuck you go from being a D-plus level fighter to being the champion? I tell you how. The Vitor Belfort special, okay? You saw it come in, and they cleaned all that shit up. They cleaned it up. You saw it cleaned it up. I think Hoppa's going to come out and shock the world and fuck around and knock Fabricio out.
Oh, shit.
I shouldn't think that. Fabricio's done beating before. Fabricio's got a way better record. There's really no reason to pick Travis Brown in this fight other than fuck it, man. It's MMA, right? And I think that Fabricio is cheating, and I don't think he can cheat no more. So I think his chin's a lot less durable these days than that fucking dopey face he makes.
Yeah, I do it this time, right? All right, Nick Pilecki, who are you picking?
I don't know, man. This is going to be a good fight. We saw how the first one went, like Fred said. But like you said, Eddie, we have Cain Velasquez sitting in the corner with a pretty win under his belt, waiting for his title shot. But if Verdum does get this W, I can see him getting the title shot too. And if it's a decisive win, and that's exactly what I think it's going to be. I think he's going to end up finishing Hoffa in maybe the second round, probably the first. It is a heavyweight bout. You know how they go. Someone's going to sleep, or it's going to be a boring brawl type of fight. But I'm going to go with Verdum, man. I think he wants his belt back. He's disappointed with that knockout loss, and yeah, man. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I don't think Cain's coming back to that belt. He even said that he's not even going to watch the fight. He said he doesn't even care because he thinks he can beat everyone in the division anyway. Well, you just got choked out by Verdum, so let's see you try to get back to that belt.
Look, man, don't get it twisted. He's watching jiu-jitsu videos and shit, okay? Relax. Cain's training. Okay?
What, was he watching on YouTube or
something? But here's the thing. Look, time out. If Roy Nelson get a black belt by learning off of YouTube, Cain Velasquez can get some fucking work done, okay? Chill. Anyway. And look, even if by the way, when fighters say I'm not even watching this fight, does anyone actually believe them? Because that's bullshit. That's total bullshit. Cain is going to be sitting in front of the TV, eyes glued, praying that Verdum loses. He really will be, okay? Because look, on the surface, he wants to get that W back, or that get that win back, but that was a nasty loss he suffered at Verdum, and that will fucking fuck with your head a little bit. Going in there again against a guy like Verdum, who subbed you and frankly beat the best of all time in Fedor as far as heavyweights go. So it's kind of a weird thing to see, but I think Cain's is going to be like, come on, Hoppa Brown. Fucking, I just beat your ass. You win, I get a title shot. It really will be.
For sure.
Let's be honest, right? So, Jesse, who are you picking? I mean, obviously we know who you're picking, but why?
Well, wait. First of all, Jesse, right now, are you in a restroom? I just want to point that out real quick.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Nick,
Just thought I'd bring that out because
I wasn't gonna say it.
I gotta point it out because I was like, "What is
weird spaces?
What is this?" But he's just ready to shit on Cain Velasquez parade. So let's go.
Oh,
God.
Hey, time out real quick. Nick came up with a fucking uppercut just to Jesse, and all of a sudden just took his back and he was like, "Yeah, dude, yeah, he's just shitting on Cain's parade. That's all he's doing. It's a metaphor." Fucking stupid.
Oh my God.
Jesse, who you picking and why, man?
I love giving you guys these softball throws here. Anyway, honestly, man, I think this is a weird fight. Another weird fight. Lots of intangibles in my opinion because both of these guys are coming back really fast from getting knocked out. Whether Travis wants to say that he wasn't hurt, that he was okay, he didn't get too beat up in that fight. Dude, he got his clock clean.
Mhm.
You know. And it's a lot sooner than Fabricio. Fabricio also, he knows the mistake he made. I don't think Travis Brown knows the mistake he made in that fight. Probably in his mind, his mistake is, oh well, I got caught. I think his mistake was actually thinking he could beat Cain Velasquez.
Yeah.
So I used to be a fan of Travis Brown because I saw a lot of potential in him. But then what really ticked me off is the fact that he was at the best camp. I think we all agree that Jackson's is pretty much one of the best camps you can be at.
Oh yeah.
Just the level of talent and the knowledge that's there. And he left because he said they didn't teach me how to fight. Yeah, they're not teaching you to fight. They're teaching you to win.
Yeah, motherfucker.
They're teaching you to be a champion. They're teaching you things that some boxing dude is not going to be able to teach you. So I think it's disappointing that Travis Brown doesn't realize what he left. And the amount of talent that he has is pretty incredible. I think had he stayed with Jackson's, I think we'd be talking, we'd be saying he's the champ right now. He's in the main event defending his world title for maybe the third or fourth time because he has the skills and, just kind of the range and everything that could give people a lot of trouble. But you look at how it's turned out, and I just think he's kind of throwing away his talents. That being said, I mean, it's tough for me because I know Verdum, he knew exactly what happened. He got too excited. He wanted to put on an exciting show, and he got clipped, and he got put to sleep. And he admits it. He says he started running. Something you look at all his fights, he never does. So it's a really hard fight for me to pick. I am picking Verdum, but I think Travis Brown could definitely put knuckles on his chin and put him away. I think both of these guys are coming back way too fast, and I would have preferred neither of these guys come back so soon after getting clocked like that. So it's just going to be one of those fights where, like a typical heavyweight fight, whoever lands knuckles first on someone's chin, that's probably going to be the winner.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, to you guys, for everybody, what do you guys think? Win or lose on either side? Like, which is a loss is much worse for Verdum, I would say. But Jesse, what do you think? Verdum in a decisive loss, or just a pretty tough bout in 3 rounds? You think he'll be back, or what do you think? Like, what would his future be, in that circumstance? So
it's tough, man, because he's getting up there in age. What is he, 38 or something like that?
39 years old. Yeah.
39. I mean, we all know that this heavyweight division is older. But I just don't see how someone like Verdum could really rebound back from getting knocked out again, 2 fights in a row. So I don't know, man. It'll be a tough night if he gets knocked out again. I just don't see a clear path for him to kind of, rally through and get back to a title shot. I mean, even though it's very, very shallow, they're at the heavyweight division. I just don't see who he could beat. And then, basically stake a claim for a title shot.
I'll say this about that, okay? Just like Jesse said, look, we just came up a time in the last few months when people were talking about Arlovsky for a title shot, okay? Verdum's not retiring. He's going to stick around, and he's going to take another shot at this title because he's going to. He has the skills to do it because he's the top. He's number 1, right? Number 1 ranked, but he's going to be a top 5 heavyweight for the next year or 2 at least because the division's that weak. So it is what it is. All right. Real quick, a couple comments here, and then I'll give my pick because everyone knows my pick at this point, but still. Yeah, Fang says I got Brown popping Verdum in the first. I may eat that, but I want to see it. You want to see Verdum get knocked out. Mike Jarvis makes a good point. Travis had a broken arm in the second round of the fight against Verdum, if I'm not mistaken. And then he goes on to say, "Watch Hapa armbar Verdum." That'd be crazy. But I don't think it happens.
Who's his jiu-jitsu coach? Nobody.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Well, maybe you can go. He's in California. You can literally throw a fucking rock out the door and you find a jiu-jitsu studio somewhere or academy somewhere.
Yeah, come on. You know what? I know who his jiu-jitsu coach is. It's his girl, probably.
His girlfriend, of course. Here's the thing. Okay, so I don't like the fact that Travis Brown's at Glendale Fight Club at all. Okay, he's like the guy that was like killing it in I don't know, fucking chess club right? Like ranked number 1 in the country. Super nerd, right? But he wanted to date the head cheerleader. So he tried out for the football team. And then he got his ass whooped. That's literally what going from Jackson's MMA is to going to Glendale Fight Club. Fucking champion chess player to the worst player on the football team. And just because the girlfriend's on the cheer squad, he wants to be in the same place as she is, right? But Verdum just got knocked out, and he got knocked out cold. And I think that chin's going to be suspect, and I think Travis Brown's going to land something on it and knock him out. I'm not even hating on Verdum. I give him full credit for the way he beat Kane and everything. I just think he's coming back way too soon, way too quick after a go-to-sleep knockout. That just, to me, was just too quick. Both of them, really. But Travis Brown, it took a while to get knocked out. Verdum got slept. And, it takes a while to come back from that. But I wouldn't be surprised if Verdum landed on him, too. Or if, Travis Brown fucked up and went to the ground with Verdum, and Verdum just choke him out. I'll tell you what right now. If that fight touches the canvas at
It's
all,
over.
I'm not even. You might as well just change the channel for a second and just wait till Verdum finishes him off. That's it. It's over. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I mentioned the first fight. When they had the first fight, Verdum took him down quite a few times, but Travis Brown was able to get back up almost each and every time.
Yeah, but he had a wrestling coach.
Yeah,
legit camp.
This time around, that's why the minute it hits the mat, like you said, Eddie, it's more than likely going to be end. But we'll see what he's capable of doing though once it hits the mat.
Yeah.
All right. You know what?
He's gonna have that PTSD at home, freaking the fuck out once that fight hits the ground.
I won't.
Get your neck out.
You know what? I have to give a little respect to Hapa's wrestling coach. At least his ground game should be on point because he's over there with Ricky Lindell and Frank Mir, training over there with them. So I'll give him that respect that his wrestling should be on point and his jiu-jitsu defense at least should be at that level. So, because Ricky Lindell is one of the best wrestling coaches out there, so give Ricky Lindell the respect. If Travis learned all that stuff, then great. If he didn't, well,
So that means if it goes to a second round, he's going to rely on Lindell for corner advice, I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I hope so.
I fuck with Ricky Lindell. He follows me on Instagram.
Yeah, hey, he gets your selfies and your fucking kissy faces and shit all day.
Hey,
I bet he's like, what the fuck did I do?
Follow me. He fucking followed me on his own will, okay?
It's the man bun. It's the man bun. That's all it is.
All right, real quick, we got to move on to the main event because I'm starving and I know Fred's jonesing for a beer. Oh, he's already going. Dave, Mike Jarman wants to know, do you know why Hapa left Jackson's? Like the legit reason.
I'm not sure. I think it could have been. I think it was something I heard about. Just the way he's like when he walks into Jackson, it's all about just being respectful and that, and like there's a certain amount of respect that everybody has to keep. And I think he was just talking shit and saying that they weren't utilizing his ability or like the style that I guess that he wants to fight, like out of the Glendale Fighting Club. I guess the kicks and the arsenal that they were trying to use in his previous fights, he didn't like that, so he started to really because about the flying kick, how he knocked out Overeem. He was kind of knocking the way he pretty much finished Alistair Overeem. So that's where I think where it stemmed from. And he was just pretty much like an asshole in the gym. So it's all about respect at Jackson. So I think he kind of just fucking checked himself out. And they acted quickly on that one and said, hey, we'll see you later, Jack.
Damn, he got kicked the fuck out there.
Yo, he started fucking Ronda Rousey, right?
Right, that too. That helped a lot.
Yeah, come on. Y'all ever had any pussy before? The bitch, you get some pussy, she usually starts running the show. And she's like, guess what? You're moving to Arizona or you ain't getting no pussy no more. Travis was like, deuces, Greg.
Is that what we're blaming the Colin Kaepernick thing then?
Blame it on the
his girlfriend's that activist?
Of course.
I didn't even know.
Of course. He got a fucking 2-hour blowjob that night.
Oh, shit. Probably did too, or maybe he gave the blowjob. You never know. Ronda's kind of anyway.
But he was hypercritical of the Jackson guys.
He's been getting blown by white girls since he did that shit.
All right, moving on to the main event. The main event being the heavyweight title bout, 5 rounds for, of course, the belt. Champion Stipe Miocic taking on Alistair Overeem, number 3 ranked heavyweight. Man, forever we've been waiting for Alistair Overeem. This was supposed to happen years ago, and it's finally happened now. On his Overeem's 40-something fight or 50-something fight in his career. Anyway, Miocic is 15-2-0, 34 years old, out of Cleveland, Ohio, technically Independence, Ohio, something like that. Training at Strong Style Fight Team. Of course, his last fight, that knockout win over Verdum in Brazil in May to get the belt. He's currently riding a 3-fight win streak. Meanwhile, the Reem, also Overeem, 41-14-0, 1-0 contest, 36 years old, out of Amsterdam, the Netherlands, in training course at Jackson Wink MMA. Last fight was a TKO win over Andre Arlovsky at Fight Night 87 in May, riding a 4-fight win streak. That TKO win over Arlovsky got him a title shot. So, finally we're about to get the fight we've been waiting for, an Overeem title fight, where this guy came in with all his hype. He's finally living up to it, supposedly. We're going to find out tomorrow night whether he's worthy or not. So starting out here with Jesse, who are you picking?
Oh, man, this is a tough fight. I mean, there's so many again, I think some great matchmaking here on this entire card. I mean, there's so many questions that need to be answered, and I think just tuning in and watching these fights is going to be interesting, to say the least. I'm going to give the edge to Overeem just due to the fact that now he's being the smarter fighter. Before he was just Ubereem, eating that horse meat, just basically relying on his strength and his size. And if you notice, now he's not doing that anymore. Now he's being more cautious. He's respecting his opponents a lot more. I think back to that KO against, Bigfoot Silva. He was disrespecting Bigfoot Silva, didn't really think that he could hurt him, and then he got KO'd shortly after that. He was just absorbing. Yeah, he was just absorbing shots. And the best part about that fight was his face right before he got knocked out. He just looked at Bigfoot Silva like, "Are you for real?" And then baboosh went down. But if you look at his recent fights, it's not going to be an exciting fight, in my opinion. I think Overeem is going to be very cautious. He's going to stick to a game plan that the masterminds over there at Jackson Wink have come up with, and I think he's going to stick to that and win this fight in a very, very boring fashion. The only way I could see Overeem finishing this fight is if Stipe does the Verdum and starts running forward, gets excited, tries to put on a show for his home crowd, and gets clipped and put away. But I think Overeem's gonna outpoint Stipe, and I just, unfortunately, I think Stipe is going to have a lot of pressure on him, fighting at home, defending his title for the first time, trying to prove that he is the heavyweight champion, and I think that might be too much for him.
All right. And again, Verdum lost it at home. Kane lost it in Mexico. He's not the greatest like to be fighting at home. Nick Pilecki, who are you picking?
I got to go against Jesse right now with the one comment that he said that Stipe is a great fighter, man. He knocked out Verdum clean. But I think he's going to be doing that. He's in his hometown. He's excited. You can tell he's excited. He's been running around doing all this media stuff in Cleveland. He's been hyped up and ready to fight, and I think that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to come in and he's just going to try to knock him out, and I think he's going to get clipped on the way coming in. Overeem's not a dumb fighter anymore. He's very smart. He's been being very strategic in his last couple fights to get the W, and that's what you have to do. You get to beat the champ. You got to be strategic, whatever the word is. Fuck it.
Whoa.
And get.
God, I thought Fred was the one drinking.
I know, right? And he has to. Thank you, sir. And he has to beat Stipe at his own game, and he has to catch him and drop him. So I can see Overeem getting it maybe round 2, maybe round 3. Just having the right game plan and staying away from Stipe's right hand. I'm going with Overeem. I think it'll be a good fight, but I think the champ's not going home with the belt.
All right. Dave, who you picking, man? One of your boys is in here.
And yeah, like I mentioned, we talked on advocates that Alistair's pretty much dialed into this bout. It's pretty much him cementing his legacy as one of the top decorated heavyweights of all time. He's had a long road. The guy's got like 80 fights complete if you add like his kickboxing and all that. So the guy's been in there, you know what I mean. And unfortunately, in the UFC, he hasn't produced. Like Fred made a good point about that. So if he does win this fight, believe it, yeah, the UFC is going to cash in with the Reem sweepstakes going forward. But you also made a point too, Fred, talking about the a heavyweight guy just coming on the scene that's just a complete badass that's stopping people. I kind of think that Stipe is that guy. I mean, he did lose to JDS, and that was a fucking complete war. But his only other loss was to Struve. But I remember Stipe coming onto the scene, fighting Joey Beltran in his opening debut into a decision.
God,
So-
the executioner, man.
So
Now
again,
selling furniture.
Yeah.
God.
yeah, so what a journey both fighters have been on. I mean, like I said, Stipe is kind of that guy, I think, in my opinion. He's had a long road to the title, definitely well-deserved run. A lot of people were like, who the hell is this guy rocking Mirko Cro Cop shorts? And then here he is holding the strap, defending the belt in his backyard. So much respect to Stipe. I think he's, like Reem said, he's a little bit partying too much, focused, and shit like that. I don't believe that. I think both guys are well prepared. I know that Reem's been running up in the same mountains that I run in. I've seen him down at Jackson's gym training. I've seen what he's working on, and he's working on a lot of ground game, like I've mentioned before on the previous shows, that he expects probably the fight to go to the ground at some point. But it's not going to be an easy task for Stipe to take the fight there. I think, like you said, or Jesse and Nick, like you're saying, if Stipe runs in and he's trying to get wild, absolutely the Reem will catch him. And I think it's just going to be an exciting heavyweight fight. I know, Jesse, you're a little bit down on it. You said it's going to be somewhat of a boring fight, that the Reem might just kind of stay on the outside and pick his shots. But I think both guys are going to really just they're going to give it their all. I think Stipe is not going to make the mistakes. I think he knows that, after he shut down the stadium in Brazil with one punch, he's riding that wave, and I think he's the man up in Cleveland. He's the reason the UFC is there, and I think Stipe gets the job done, probably by a TKO or a knockout, but it's going to be the Reem going out on his shield, in which he normally does, because he's unfortunately been on the receiving end of some pretty nasty knockouts in the UFC. I think he's been finished like 6 times total in his career by TKO, but 3 times in the UFC. And dating back to 2011, like you said, Eddie, this fight probably should have taken place in 2013, but here we are with Alistair on a great run. I think he'll be ultra competitive. He's done all he can to prepare for this bout, but I do not like the added pressure of Stipe being in Cleveland, but he's got that shine, and I think he's the man to move forward in the heavyweight division, and he is that guy. I think he continues his reign, absolutely.
Yeah. So, Jesse, you said you really think it's going to get boring? And who are you picking?
I just think not boring. Yeah, like boring because of the fact that I think Overeem is going to be so surgical with his shots. I don't think he's going to attempt to take a risk. I think we're going to see kind of like a JDS fight where he's going to be on the outside picking his shots and basically trying to frustrate Stipe to move in and basically eat one of those heavy hams on his face and go to sleep. I just think that because of the fact that Overeem has been talking so much about his legacy, cementing his legacy as the best heavyweight ever, I think he knows that this is pretty much his only opportunity to win and to be the best, be crowned the best. So I think he's going to be smart with his game planning. He's going to definitely want to walk out of there with that title.
Yeah.
Be crowned the best by who? I don't give a fuck what Overeem does.
Get him!
Saturday night.
Get him,
He
Fred!
still ain't gonna be the best goddamn heavyweight of all time.
Get
Man,
it, Fred!
Listen. This fight makes me sad. I'm not gonna bullshit you. This fight makes me sad, man, because you're right. Listen, Overeem was supposed to be that dude. He wasn't. All due respect, Overeem wasn't that guy, man. He's got starched a few times. I wish I could be as excited for this fight as I would like to be. When Overeem had first won the K1 title and he came over, I was that dude, man. I thought Overeem was going to be the guy and he was going to be this killer. He fucking came out with this stupid-ass techno song, pumping his fucking goofy arm in the air, and Bigfoot starched him and killed all my hopes and dreams. And since then, he's kept letting me down. Goddamn Travis Brown karate kicked him. Fucking... like 2 years ago, kicked him right in the fucking kisser. So, listen, I think Overeem will win this fight. I think that Stipe is a strategic fighter. And quite frankly, as much as I like Stipe and would like to get behind him, he's kind of predictable. He doesn't throw kicks. The fucking guy's not a very versatile striker. He's a pretty good boxer, and he has a decent wrestling game to fall back on. But Overeem is a seasoned striker with hands and knees and elbows and kicks. And he's got enough defensive wrestling and grappling, I think, to make Stipe bang with him. And that does not make for a great night for Stipe. Now listen, everybody knows Alistair's chinny. Stipe can box. He could just come out and fucking drop Alistair. It very well could happen. and MMA's like that. The reason I say the fight makes me sad is because Stipe does got the loss to Junior, where basically he lost at his strongest skill set. He is a boxer at his best, and JDS beat him in that regard. And he couldn't take JDS or out wrestle him. And then he got knocked out by fucking Wolfhart Stephen Struve. Now, I know that was a long time ago, but shit like that rubs me the wrong way, and I just can't get it out of my head. And for some reason, both of those facts, I feel like, listen, man, this is the most prestigious belt in our sport. It's the fucking heavyweight crown. And low-key, I'm more excited to see what Phil fucking Brooks does. It shouldn't be like that, man. Yeah. Where's our Mike Tyson? Like, if this is our heavyweight strap, I should be fucking itching to see our heavyweight belt defended. And quite frankly, I barely give a fuck. If Alistair wins, he should have fucking done this 4 years ago. And if Stipe wins, I'll still be not quite sold yet. I need to see Stipe beat Alistair. Then I need to see him beat
Kane.
I'm sorry, but Stipe's going to have to do a lot of winning for me to really be like, okay, yo, dude's fucking legit. So, I don't know. It's a toss-up, but I think Alistair will win just by being a more experienced, diverse fighter.
Fred, are you going to agree with me on this, that pretty much anybody that wins that championship belt, to me, is going to be like anybody that wins the middleweight title at this point? They got to run through a bunch of people, kind of because of how Anderson dominated that division. It kind of leaves a stink on it, where someone has to literally dominate that division almost to the point that they break the record that Anderson did and just kind of decimate everybody. And then that's when we're all going to get behind him. Because I agree with you. I like Stipe. No. I think he's good. I just can't get behind him because I don't see that type of world beater out of him.
Listen, completely. Listen, let me ask you guys a quick question. When is the last time you was extremely excited for a heavyweight championship fight? What fight was it?
Kane Lesnar. That was a while ago.
The Dos Santos Kane run.
Yeah, Dos Santos Kane.
Okay, either way, we may disagree on the fight, but we all got the same fighter in mind. Kane. Okay? That's the last time we had a guy where it was like, yo, the heavyweight champ is fighting. It doesn't feel like the champ is fighting tomorrow night. No fucking disrespect to Stipe, but it just doesn't quite feel like that yet.
It's true.
The belt's on the line, but it doesn't feel like that. Kane still kind of has that vibe. And maybe he's not that guy, but he's still kind of got that stink on him right now, man. The heavyweight division is weird. I'm not really super excited for this fight for some reason.
You know what? Everybody's just holding on to the belt until Ngannou gets a couple more fights, and then bam.
God, that fucking guy scares the shit out of me, for real.
He will be the champ. Mark my words, right here.
He's gonna get a title. He'll get a shot for sure. So let's see what happens. Fucking monster-sized dude. All right, real quick. I'm taking Stipe. I'm taking Stipe because I'm hoping he's there when Kane comes to whip his ass.
Bullshit.
When you said Overeem's chinny, right? I think Stipe's shown his boxing is really good, but his counter game is pretty damn good. Verdun fucked up, came after him, and he caught him with just a real basic right hook, knocked him out. Now is Overeem gonna go after him? No way. Overeem's gonna be methodical about it, but I think that he's gonna get that chance to counter him and get a knockout win. That's just what I think is gonna happen. Obviously, smart money probably says Overeem's gonna win it, but I like Stipe in this one, just barely though. I don't think he's gonna be like a fucking massive, crazy, who no one saw this coming type of finish. I think it'll be like later in the rounds.
Stipe is the favorite, right?
Yeah, he is, but I mean, most people
barely.
He's barely the favorite though. It's really close. So, all right. Real quick, there's a couple of comments here. Fang is taking Stipe. Mike Drop says it should be a war. And then Musashi says Stipe seems to be a nice guy. I would not mind seeing him defend his title and even breaking the 2+ defend. Oh yeah, the 2-fight, whatever. What's the most people defend about twice? Yeah, the 2
title
defenses. Yeah, the 2 defense curse of the heavyweight division. So that could definitely happen. But I think if he wins this fight, Kane's gonna be like, all right, I'm ready. Let's go. Let's get my belt back. But we'll see what happens. All right, fellas. Last question here, and we're gonna just roll off with this. because it should be a pretty quick answer. Triple G against Brooke. Who's watching it?
I won't watch it, but I will catch the replays, and I'm interested in it. I'm interested. I ain't paying no goddamn money.
No.
Yeah.
I ain't no goddamn criminal, so I ain't pirating it. Dr. Feelgood. But,
the shout out.
Calling him out.
Man, I like Triple G though.
Yeah, I'm going with Triple G.
Yeah, Jesse, you watching?
No, I'm not watching, but I agree. I think he's gonna take it, move on. But there's the undercard fight on that one, or the fight after that, the Chocolatito. That's gonna be a good fight too. That dude's a beast. If you guys haven't seen him.
Quick hands, right? Yeah, real quick hands, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Dave, who you picking? Or are you watching it? And who you picking if you're watching, or not?
Yeah, I don't think I'll be tuning in, but yeah, I like that Triple G is doing his thing. I know he's a pretty feared dude. A lot of people have been ducking him, but whenever Andre Ward's fighting, you'll catch me watching every single one of those fights. So.
Yep.
So.
There's only 3 guys in boxing that I'll tune in for.
If anybody from Triple G's camp sees this, or anybody that knows him sees this, listen to me now. After Triple G wins, this is what you do. You look at the camera and you go, "Where you at, Floyd Mayweather, you motherfucker? Where you at?"
Take the Nick Diaz approach. That guy can barely speak English, but fuck it, do it.
He only needs to learn those words. Where you at,
Where you at?
motherfucker? Floyd Mayweather.
Oh, that'd be great. All right.
To close it, let's touch a little bit on Robbie Lawler, Cowboy cancel.
Oh, shit.
Before we get any further, I know we talked about it before we went live. Nick Diaz versus Donald Cerrone.
Do it today. Do it today. Like fucking right now. Sign that paper.
Yeah.
Right now. Nick Diaz, Cerrone, get the fuck out of here. Do it. Even Nate, but Nick Diaz, fucking legit.
You see this, guys? I think we need to sign up and be matchmakers for the UFC. Take that job, that Joe Silva job.
Yeah.
Hey, look, man, all we gotta do.
From what I hear, that job sounds fucking hideous.
Oh, I heard that job sucks. All right, there's a reason to get the fuck out.
Imagine having to tell, Travis Brown or one of those big dudes, hey, you're fired. Yeah, that's not gonna.
Oh, that's why you send it by text message, man. You don't fucking say it to your face. Get out of here with that shit. All right.
I send that motherfucker a text, Jack.
That's what I'm saying. Email that guy. These days it's disrespectful and fucking weak, but still, I'm not gonna go up to fucking Travis Brown and be like, hey, fuck out of here.
I just tweet him. Yo, Travis, that was a very unimpressive performance. We will no longer need your services. Thanks a lot.
Bitch. Hey, at Bellator at the end of that tweet.
Yeah, and tag Bellator in the tweet.
Oh, shit. All right, and there's only 3 boxes that I'll tune in to watch, and I'm on the Dr. Feelgood plan, so it'll be that type of thing. But Andre Ward is my favorite boxer, followed by Canelo, and I will always watch Golovkin. Triple G's is shit. You just have to watch him. So those are my 3 guys. All right, fellas, that's gonna do it for us tonight. Went almost 2 hours, so goddamn. But you can follow Nick Pilecki at I Didn't Get Shot Tonight or at Nick X Micro. Jesse is at Spawat 1983. Kirby, of course, or Kings of MMA, there you go. And then, you can actually go to Kings of MMA. He just hangs out in the fucking lobby, just fucking hanging out.
Just sits there.
There you go. Kirby is at Kirby_MMA. And, of course, Dave is at Dave's MMA Briefs.
Yeah,
Dave's
and everybody,
Briefs? His MMA Briefs? What?
Look, hey, time out. Brand that shit. Start selling that shit, dude. I guarantee you make it big, start selling Dave's MMA's Briefs. Dude, it'll be fucking huge.
Oh, and to let everybody know now, I'll shoot a link out tomorrow. I got an exclusive sit-down in-studio interview with Landon Venata on ESPN. So
hell yeah!
Oh my
God! Shoot a link out. And if you guys didn't know, if you didn't read it earlier, Bobby Green versus Berkman. Bobby Green's out of that fight, so we possibly
I've seen that.
Berkman could possibly be the fight, and I'll find out more tomorrow, and I'll find out more about the Cowboy situation because Landon's that's one of his best friends. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I'll shoot out a link.
Sweet.
Appreciate y'all tuning in, everybody, tonight, because that's something everybody's looking forward to seeing what the next move is for Mr. Venata, and I'll come through with that.
Yeah, you know what? Whoever he beats is gonna be like, oh, the canvas is slippery. The fucking bullshit. All right, shout out to Mike Jarves. Of course, Andrew Reed. Fang was on here tonight. Musashi was on. Who else is on here? Everybody's on here. Thanks everyone for watching. We appreciate it, and enjoy the fights tomorrow night. Everybody, good night, and we'll catch you later.
Peace.
Later.